I'd love to welcome our next speaker, Sid Shah. He is the Global Head of Data and Analytics and Insights at Condé Nast. And today he's going to talk to us about building a data culture. Sid has worked in the field of data analytics for the last 12 years, working in consulting and in in-house capacity for brands in media, financial services, and the retail sector. He helps businesses improve data capabilities and drive value through data and optimize performance. Please help me welcome Sid Shah to the stage. All right, Sid, welcome to the DATAcated conference. It looks like you're on mute, so I'll just remind everyone, unmute yourself, please. Thank you so much for joining us. And everyone in the audience, feel free to jump in with questions. We will have time in about 10 minutes to go ahead and ask Sid some questions. Building a data culture, I can't wait. I'm gonna hop off the virtual stage. I'll share your screen and take it away.
Thanks, Kate. Thanks for having me. And hi, everyone. Hope everyone is well and safe. So I am going to talk about building a data culture. I hope my slides are online and you can see those. Let me start with some stats. And one of the stats that I would like to talk about is 83% of all CEOs want their organization to be data-driven business, while only 25% of organizations are data leading. Now, that's a great mismatch in terms of their expectations about on what their organization should be and what they think their organizations are. And it's important for us to start thinking about why that is the case. And for us to think about why that's the case, we can also start looking into first the organizations that think that they are doing well within the data space. And for those organizations that they think they're doing well, the key reasons is they think is data culture. And those organizations believe that they have a strong data culture. So let's spend some time to understand what do you mean by a strong data culture. So strong data culture, according to me, would be starting with where data is seen as an asset within an organization. Data is used for creating a business strategy and is truly recognized within the business as a tool that can change and drive the business forward. At a tactical level, data is at the highest quality. It's available across the organizations where the businesses and embedded within businesses and processes. And people within the organization are using data for decision making. Now, to enable all that, you need to ensure that data is embedded within the DNA of the organization. And to ensure that's happening, you need the right tools and techniques in place. But it's more than tools and techniques. It's more about the culture of the organization. And for that, to drive the culture, tool is an enabler, and you need to focus on all the processes and people. So with the time we have here, I'm going to focus on two key takeaways for you. One is, how do you enable all the tools and techniques within an organization, and how do you drive and create an impact within data so that you have a thriving or a strong data culture. So I'll start in talking about and share the framework that I use within the organizations I have worked with. And then let's focus on building a decision-led culture, because I believe data culture focuses more and drives a decision culture. So let's start with the first thing in terms of the framework in place. So what I call this framework is a data value framework. And to drive a data value, it starts with the goals. You have to start thinking about what is my goal for the organization, and from a data point of view, what are we trying to achieve? It could be, as I've mentioned there, could be the data excellence, on driving an excellence and improving capability of the data so that it's future-proofing your business. It could be driving and creating a business impact. So you need to first think and start drawing out goals for this and making sure that you have that available and clarity with an organization. Then focus on the customer side of things. And there are two types of customers, internal customers and external customers. So the external customers here would be the customers that you build products and services for. You need to understand what drives them towards your product or services, what's loyalty, understand their needs, and create a process in place where the voice of a customer is heard within the business. So as a data team and representative, you need to make sure that you have all the tools and capabilities in place to drive that focus and data forward. The other element is the internal customers, and this is probably quite relevant for the group as well. These internal customers are people who rely on you for the data or the insights you produce for decision making. It's so important, and some of the previous speakers mentioned, to understand their needs and what drives and what are their successes and challenges and what drives them forward in their today work. So it's important to understand that. The other element is the philosophical layer, and this is quite important, and I'm passionate about this side of things. So what I mean by philosophical layer is the value that that you're providing to the organization, and to have to spend some time to understand what are we here to do as a data team. What is our role? Why are we doing all these things? Are you building capabilities, driving insights, and building machine learning algorithms, and so on and so forth? To have that clarity about what exactly are we here to do and lay it down for the teams and for your group is very, very important. The other element of that philosophical layer is respect for customer data. With the privacy and the compliance side of things, you need to understand what are we collecting and lay it down and document it. Why are you collecting that, and make sure that the business is aware, and as well as the team is aware in terms of why are we collecting, and there's respect across for all the customer data that we are collecting. There are other elements which I'm not going to go into detail, is focus on continuous development. I see data and analytics initiatives as an iterative work. You need to it can always get better. It's never the best, I feel. So there's always an element of continuous development and so on and so forth, and have a customer first mindset. And as I said, it could be the external customers or your internal customers. Focus on the customers that you have. Then the other element is are the tools, techniques, and outcomes. It starts with tools, which is having all the tools that you need for supporting the business, is i.e. enabling the technology, focusing on the architecture, privacy, and governance, and all the good stuff. I'm not going to go into detail, but having the right tools in place, having the right techniques, is the processes and the operational model in place in collaboration with other parts within the business is quite important. And the last element is the outcomes of it. It's so important to make sure that you understand and focus on outcomes for driving change within the business. And the outcomes could be driving efficiency with. It could be optimizing certain elements within the business to improve performance. It could be about anticipating the customer need and predicting the needs, so that you can support the business on making the decisions or creating product and services. To have this framework in place that helps you build the right foundation and provide the clarity for you and the team to drive the business. So for a data culture or a thriving data culture, I think this is fundamentally important, is to start having understanding from customer needs to having an understanding of the philosophical side of things and the business side of things that gives you a total 360-degree view about what you're here to do and make that business forward. The other and the second takeaway I'm going to talk about here is data culture and the decision culture. For me, data culture is about decision culture. So when I think about data culture, is ensuring that you have the right information in place in front of your stakeholders so that they can make the right decisions. And it's that the decisions within the organization are made with the help of data and information that you and team are producing. And to enable that, there are plenty of things that you could do. I've laid out 4, and I'll just talk about those 4 things. The first one is alignment and commitment. What I mean by alignment is alignment with your senior stakeholders and your senior partners and board members where relevant, is making sure that they understand what your initiatives, data initiatives are, what are they supposed to do, and that impact that would create. I see it is not as a one-time. It's a have to ensure they fully understand from at a high level and at a tactical level how your initiatives and will drive the business forward, and get their commitment to and backing towards that. That's pretty important to drive a decision-led culture within the organization, to have line from the top and the leadership team. The other element is the data skills and maturity of within the organizations. Now, depending on where your organization may have to focus on improving the data skills, either upskilling people, reskilling people, ensure that they understand how to use data, how to interpret insights. Again, depending on your role, it could be you may be providing data, or you could be providing insights. You need to ensure that the people who are utilizing that data or insights are utilizing and using it in the right ways. To enable that, you make sure that they have the right skills, and you have to try and assess that. This also helps you to improve the maturity of the organization with more skilled people within the organization. The level of questions and the type of projects that you hopefully will be working will take that level forward. The other element is the data democratization. So data democratization is one of the important elements in driving a decision-led culture. What I mean by that is ensuring that everyone within the organization has the access to the right type of data based on the job and the role they are into. This information is not in silo. It's provided in a most easiest format as possible, where they can start exploring and utilizing for the decision making. You also have to be proactive in this. So there's again a soft element or soft skill element is to take the things that you have built and try and promote it in your business in the right way. And what I mean by that is communicating to the business on the tools and capabilities that you have built within your teams, and drive the information forward so that these people start using and driving adoption within the business. Data adoption is one of the important things. The first element is to make sure that they inform, and you inform about what you have built, and the other element is to try and to push things forward so that you get engagement and adoption for the tools and technologies that you have built. Lastly is the compliance and the governance side of things. With the digital data that we all work with, it's so important to make sure that the data that you are sharing is in front of the right people. So as I mentioned, it should only be available for the people that need that data. So you as a data practitioner, you need to ensure that the right governance policies are in place and it's complied. So you're collecting the data in a more compliant format, and implement all the processes and checks in place so that there are no leakages or security issues within the data. The other element of that is the quality side of things. Try and make sure that the quality of your data is of the highest standard where possible. So it can be done by tools and techniques, or implementing certain processes in place where there is a human element involved within the data. So for me, summarizing, there are two key takeaways: is focus on creating a strong data foundation, and focus on the decision-led culture that will hopefully help you and give you enough tools in place to drive the decision and create a data culture. Because what I feel is, when it comes to data and analytics, the end goal is to drive better decision more often. So it's not a one-time effort, it's a continuous area that you need to focus on. It focuses on the tools and technologies that you have built, and it also focuses on the people and the processes within the organization as well. So with that, I will wrap up and I'll be open to questions. So Kate, this is your time to be online.
Yes, this is my time to be online. Thank you so much, Sid, for your presentation. I always love conversations about building data cultures. I think it's not spoken about enough. I think it mainly because it's hard to measure. It's it's not really as tangible. But we'll take some questions from the audience here. Let's start with a question from George. He's asking, would the organizational culture fall into that philosophical layer that you were talking about?
Yes, I think to an extent it falls, but again, it depends on organization to organization. So philosophical layer, as I said, is it's about ensuring that you respect the customer data. You focus on whys of your world, and it starts with the organization. So if your organization is at a place where they're thinking about all this, then it starts with that. But as a data organization, you should, or as a data unit, you should start promoting that within your teams first, and try and bring it the senior leadership buy-in, so that it's an organizational wide thing.
Okay, got it. Thank you. And then we'll take one more question here from Joe Warbington. He's asking, data culture, is it better to start from the top, or is it more of a grassroots entryway?
Again, it's a difficult one. It should start everywhere, I would say. So start with the grassroots level, where making sure that the capabilities that you have built, the tools that you have built, is shared across all stakeholders. Get that grassroots level people excited about using the data, but also make sure that you're aligned with your senior leadership till. So I would say you have to do both. Without senior leadership buy-in, as I mentioned, without their alignment and commitment, you might only go to a certain extent. So try both. Again, it's a process and a people thing. So there's never a right and a wrong answer. You have to constantly try and see what works and what doesn't work within your organization.
Yeah, absolutely. And without the senior leadership alignment, you definitely won't get that far, no matter how excited everyone else is about the idea.
True.
All right, awesome. Well, Sid, thank you so much for your presentation, and thank you so much for your time here today.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Have a lovely day.